Welcome to the 108 podcast, starring the drunk uncles of White Sox Twitter. He's at his ideal weight if he were 10 feet tall, BeefLoaf. Never holding but always partaking, not hungry but will eat, My Sox Summer. And your host, he's aged and smells like a sharp cheddar, Chorizy E.
Thank you, Chorizy, and welcome to the From the 108 podcast. Get ready for some baseball, beer, and bullshit. And remember the drinking rules. If BeefLoaf says allegedly, or that he wrote a blog about that, you drink. If My Sox Summer doesn't know a player, or mentions his time on the West Coast, you drink. And if I swear or say, here's the thing, you drink. BeefLoaf, how you doing tonight?
I'm great, boys. I just want to ask you guys a question. Did you get a chance to talk to Military Phil at the games this past week? You get a little chat with him or anything like that? He came in with Aussie Sox fan. You know, I was talking to him a bit.
I did talk to him, yes.
Did you talk to him? Did you happen to see the ginormous scar on his arm? Okay, so he
told me about that.
So he tore a tendon there completely, and he's been recovering for it, right? And so I was kind of thinking when he was showing it to me and we're just talking a little bit, I was thinking, I'm 42. I'll be 43 in a couple weeks, and I've been in my home for 10 years now. And my home is in good shape, but there's some things that kind of need some work. And, My Sox Summer came over and helped me with the power washing a little bit. And I'm starting to get the itch, I've accomplished a fair amount of stuff in my life. And why can't I go out there and just learn how to, do some of the stuff I need to do around the house? And all I kept thinking, looking at his scar, was, man, I am going to injure the fuck out of myself in the next decade doing menial tasks around my house. It's absolutely fucking unavoidable. Chorizy, I have this wine fridge in my basement right now that I'm staring at. It doesn't work anymore. It's heavy as fuck. But I've been thinking to myself, you know what? I could probably wiggle it out of here and get it out to the. And all I'm thinking is I can't wait to birth my third hernia of my life. I can't wait to be in the hospital to get a netting in my groin for the third fucking time of my life. What a joyous time thinking about planning all these injuries. So when you my birthday's coming up on the calendar, June 17th, 43rd birthday. That's the start of my decade of menial injuries around the house.
Listen. Okay, if this is your roundabout way of asking me to move your wine fridge for your birthday present, done. Okay? You didn't get to do anything really all that great for your 40th birthday, so fuck you. Yes, I will come and move your wine fridge out of there with you, and we will definitely try to not kill each other. I can do that.
Can we just smash it to bits and then take it out piece by piece? That just seems way safer.
Yeah, it seems way safer. All the glass and everything.
I feel like we put it in front of his garage door and it's gone within 15 minutes. There's a network of homing pigeons that see scrap metal and they just go right over there and get it. So it's going to be fine. It will be alerted, and there will be a 1989 Ford F-150 with wire racks on the side, all bungeed, and they will just throw it right on top of a shitload of pallets that they're getting $5 a piece for. So
100%. They'll figure out a way to make it work. But I thought you'd enjoy this, Chorizy, because you do enjoy when I inflict pain on myself and or injury whenever I'm putting something together or trying to do just a normal household thing.
See, but I don't want serious injury for you. I don't want you to get a hernia.
Where's the line at? What's the most serious injury that's still funny that you would be okay with me getting?
I just want you to bleed a little bit. I want you to bleed, but no stitches. That's yeah. Because you will cut yourself doing something really stupid, like installing a cable box or something.
Yeah. Which I did. I absolutely did.
You seriously cut yourself installing a cable box?
Yeah, when I was screwing the thing in, I sliced my finger on it. Believe it or not.
What the fuck, dude?
I don't know. I'm not cut out for this kind of work, but I think I'm getting of the age I need to start at least taking care of some of it myself.
Well, I noticed that our good friend Sal, fuck you, Sal, he put up that you have tiny tools, so maybe you could just kindly hurt yourself. But the pressure washer, Chorizy, you'll like this because this is what could potentially happen. Loaf doesn't like to wear shoes out in his back patio area, and he definitely isn't wearing them when he's doing the pressure washing of his rocks. So if he does like an errant move with the pressure washer, he might slice off his pinky toe, and that would just be blood going everywhere. And although his equilibrium will put him on par with Wally Money in terms of balance while walking, he will be okay. We could get him a fake toe maybe for his 43rd birthday.
Fake toe.
Losing a pinky toe would be excellent because it would be straight out of Harlem Nights.
Yeah.
Right? It would.
Yes.
The thing I've learned from you two during this,
yourself.
especially my Sox summer, is all the thoughtful gifts he wants to get me. Help me move something out of my house as a birthday gift. Give me a fake toe as a birthday gift. I appreciate your mind goes in great spots for this.
You know, we could get you a fake toe. We don't even have to cut one of yours off. We could it could just be a gift on its own.
I'm like, I don't even want to put the tweet out, but I'm sure if we asked for one, somebody would send us one. This is why we need a PO box, so then we can get these things delivered to us, not at our homes, and somebody won't be sending us live toes.
We need a fake toe, and I cannot stress fake enough.
If it shows up on dry ice and it's a real toe, we don't want it. That's not what we're looking for.
Oh, fuck.
My Sox Summer, how you doing, man?
I'm all right. I'm fucking tired. We did a podcast last night with the good guys, Tone and Jim, over at it's Gems, right? Gems and Tone over at Off the Rails, and both great, interesting guys. A lot of talking, and like if you ever wondered like what our show would be like if we only did banter for the entire 2 hours, listen to that podcast because it just goes from here to there to back around, and like it just kept flowing. And I'm a definite fill time kind of guy. Like, we know this. Like, that's just kind of what I've done for us a lot, and always have to put something in times. I'm trying to cut myself out of that. I get a little bit too overzealous sometimes. And I last night I was like, just kept throwing myself out there. Like, I was like, you don't need to do this. There's 3 other people here. Settle down, MSS. Like, you don't need to tell your best stories right now, and a lot of them were repeat stories, but like this fun times like last night. But man, we got done at 11 o'clock. Gems looks like he was going to die because he had been dead the whole show. He was sick the whole show. And he just kept putting on the cough button, and just, and so he got off immediately, but not quicker than Chorizy. Chorizy's the first one off. He's like, fuck you. I got to go to bed. I'm going to be up in 3.5 hours and I have to work 17 hours today. So I can't stick around and chat. And then I chatted a little longer, and then I went to bed late, and then I get up and I'm like, oh, I'm fucking tired. Like I had been having 3 great days in a row because I'd been going to bed at 9 o'clock and like 9:30, 10, and then I fucked it all up and went to bed at midnight. And I got up this morning and I was like, oh, I'm fucking angry. So I was telling the girls this morning, I'm like, just don't talk to me. Like, go play, go do something, because I'll get set off, and I don't even, it's not even your fault. Like, you're not even doing anything wrong. It's just me being a big jackass. So
I'm looking forward to hearing you two guys on the show. Sans me, you're out there doing it, and I with some other, kind of mingling in with someone else. As I've heard my Sox Summer do Sox in the Basement spots, and I've heard Chorizy on the Spaces and stuff. But the two of you together on someone else's show, it should be interesting. I'm looking forward to hearing.
It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. And it's like I was thinking about it, and this I was going to talk about this too. Is like it's weird for me when I'm not hosting. Right. When I'm not trying to guide it, it feels very different. But like last night, because like the topics were like so all over the place, I was like, I'm glad I'm not hosting this. I'm glad I could just be a participant in it, because it's very freeform. Like, how our larger shows go, where it's like Festivus and things like that, where we're going for like a long time. Those are difficult to host. Like those are really difficult. And like Tone and Gems just do this like week in and week out, which is like all over the place. I'm just like, man, like I don't know how you do it. Like it's very impressive. So I was kind of just like sitting there going, I'm glad I don't have to do this. I'm glad I could just participate.
And like we've always had an agenda. Like we've never not had an agenda. Like they might not have been very good at the beginning, but we always had like,
Right.
this is what we're kind of doing, and we're not sticking to it, but this is where we're supposed to go. Like it was a roadmap, you know. So it was crazy. It was like it was off the rails, man. It was off the rails. I didn't know, you know, what I was supposed to go and what I was supposed to do. But it worked out really well. So
we did a great draft, though. We did a great draft. I really enjoyed the draft. I thought it was a unique idea, and
which I destroyed, by the way. So you guys don't.
Yeah,
I won like hands down after the first 2 picks.
Oh, you did? That's nice. Good for you, baby.
I probably won. If we're just being honest.
Yeah.
Tone did not win.
No,
Tone,
no.
Tone's draft was horrendous.
It was bad.
There was one pick that was horrendous.
His third pick was the worst pick I've ever heard in any draft ever.
I liked the idea. I liked he came up with an idea, but I didn't like it. Like I didn't like where it went. So everyone listen to that. I think it'll be out
Monday. Yeah,
it'll be out Monday. So take a listen to that. I think you'll enjoy it quite a bit. But I thought the draft was a lot of fun. So I'll post when it's up and make sure you see it.
Fuck you, Tim. I see this comment, Tim, and I don't like you anymore. Yep, put it up there. It means you just really drink too much of Harley. It's true. That was the Festivus show. And yeah. Or not Festivus, it was the 108 Fest.
Yeah,
Chorizy, on that note, how are you doing, or is that how you were doing? And then we're moving to the next thing, or are we doing how we doing?
I'm doing good, and that is like I said, that was what I was planning to talk about it up at the front. So I think what we could do is just kind of move this right along and ask you guys, what are you drinking? Oh boy,
and that's for Tim. Tim, last time I drank this, I hurled. So yeah, actually it wasn't this. It was the Costco Royale that I drank way too much of. But this is the Crown Royal Vanilla. So I am back on the whiskey train. I did not piss myself or do anything regrettable the last time I drank whiskey. So we'll see. We'll see what happens in this one, because I'm a little bit more fired up. Not tasting bad. I was expecting the first taste back to the Canadian whiskey to not be so good. But it's like I never even threw up 19 times the day after one of those. Like it didn't even happen. So I'm back, baby. Chorizy, what are you drinking? Or BeefLoaf, what are you drinking?
I want to know what BeefLoaf is drinking.
I'm actually on the whiskey train myself, and I have this awesome bottle of rye that Chorizy left here. Actually, I've emptied it into my glass, but he left this here probably 6 years ago, making old fashions at my house.
Nice.
And so I'm going to drink rye and ginger. And now that I've got that one done, I got the bullet in the background. Whoa. So I'm also hoping the whiskey doesn't get me right now. And not to mention, I don't know if anyone noticed in the comments. Actually, I realize everyone noticed in the comments. I have an extremely fucking tight blue jersey on right now. So with the whiskey combo and then this really tight jersey, I'm going to see if I could Zach Plesac myself tonight when I'm diving onto the couch to watch TV after the show. So I'll let you guys know. If I have a finger that looks like Brian Baldinger's, then I will post it on Twitter so everyone knows I was successful in Zach Plesacing myself.
I feel like with you bouncing around right now, like that at any point this shit could just like start ripping.
I'm like all the way May, my bosoms will pop out.
Man.
Chorizy, what are you drinking, my friend?
I went and got some Rev Sun Crusher. So I'm
nice.
Good choice.
Today. It's like 800 degrees in here because I forgot to open my door over here. So I just got it's just all pure Chorizy heat in here right now.
Ooh,
and I might have to get up in a little while to do this, but I will wait so that I don't interrupt anything. But it is fucking hot in here, so Sun Crusher is perfect.
Bro, I got a good ad read. I can stall it a little bit. You go and do your thing and get that window open, because you always look like you're almost ready to die, but now you're looking like you're really dehydrated and are going to die. So I just want to make sure you get over there, get that door open.
I'm going to be just fine.
Okay. Your hair looks absolutely perfect. Let me just tell you that. The combination of you got a little lather going in the forehead. The hairline looks amazing right now. Let me just
you know, like I am not wearing a hat today, which I usually am hatted. For this, you know,
yes, you are.
I'm not no hat today. So
hatless.
It's a famous movie quote that I won't say about not having hats. But
great movie, by the way. Great movie.
But yeah, so I'm my hair's combed. I went into the office today, so I'm a
Nice.
little I'm cleaned up. This is as clean as you'll ever get a Chorizy. Like I still have a ridiculous beard. This is a nice summer beard for me, nice and trim.
Summer beard.
But yeah,
like
so I'm a little tired, and I'm gonna be a little drunk very soon.
Yep.
So this should be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to this, and I can't wait to talk shit about some people.
Oh yes,
Mainly
it's gonna be us, my Sox Summer.
My Sox Summer. No,
It probably is me.
it's not.
I clapped on him a little hard before the episode. He's gonna get me back. I know.
Yeah.
No way. All right, my Sox Summer.
You ready?
Why don't you pay some bills?
All right. Well, I hope it's not these guys you're going to talk shit about, because it's pop quiz time. Name our sponsor. They're big supporters of all things White Sox, and they gave away 4 tickets last week to our fans. They sell cars, and they are not jagoffs. And what's your guess, guys? That's right, motherfucking Mazda of Orland Park. Them guys down there off 159th. They have a ton of new and certified used cars available to choose from. You know what that car you see in the concourse at Sox Park? Yep, that 2021 Mazda CX-3 SP was donated by Mazda of Orland Park to White Sox charities. Like us 108ers, they like watching the Sox, donating money to good causes, and tipping back a few brews. Does that sound like a guy you want to buy a car from, like Chorizy E did? Of course it does. So give them a follow over at Zoom Nation and check out their worldwide webpage, MazdaofOrlandPark.com. They are a Carfax top-rated dealer and take advantage of that $500 discount for Sox fans. Fuck off, Cub fans. Mazda of Orland Park, home of the Zoom Nation. 8910 West 159th Street, Orland Park. 708-444-3200. Zoom, baby.
Oh, beautiful.
Nice ad read, baby. Excellent. That was the whiskey talking there, man. It was so smooth and good. I love it.
Oh, you wait till the next one.
Fuck
Kicking it old school for the next ad read, just so you know.
I got the balcony door open now too. Thank you for that.
Told you I could
do
it.
Beautiful breeze coming. You'll probably get some sounds of the city with this, which is typically sirens. That's mostly what you'll catch in the background. I think it's about time that we do a little baseball talk.
Woo!
All right, fellas. So we had 2 series since we last talked. One of which was Baltimore, which was a clean sweep of a very shitty team. The other was Cleveland, which mediocre. We lost 2 of 3. One of those is against Shane Bieber. It's it's bound to happen. So let's start with sweeping a shitty team like the Baltimore Orioles. Let's get your thoughts on the series and what you liked, what you didn't like.
Absolutely. So last week when we previewed this series, I gave 3 keys that shit I needed to see in this series. For me, it was less about wins and losses and more about some type of production that certain guys were going to have to provide. And so my first key was I need to see 8 home runs in the 4 games, and I need to see 1 from Yoel Moncada. And so the White Sox in the 4-game series, they hit 6 home runs, so close. But Yoel Moncada did hit a home run, so it was good to see him get a stroke back. And Yoel Moncada is so fucking red hot right now. I just love watching him play baseball. I just can't wait till he's up to the plate because he's been so good, just top to bottom for the last couple weeks. I mean, he's absolutely amazing. Key number 2 was 2 clean innings from my guy Cody Huh. He only pitched once in the series, but he did have a clean inning. That was a 8th inning in game 2 on Saturday, which we were at that game, freezing our asses off until we got back into the sun. And then key number 3 was, will the real Tim Anderson please stand up? And in the series against Baltimore, Tim Anderson was 4 for 10 with a walk. He had 3 runs and 2 stolen bases, and he only struck out once. So Tim Anderson did pop back, and the production was there. The Orioles, in general, are a bum team. They got a lot of nerve throwing Matt Harvey out there for the start in the first game of the fucking Saturday doubleheader. It's like, come on, this is a Saturday game, and you're throwing this guy out there who hasn't been good since 2015. Apparently they give no fucks. So you got to take them out to the woodshed, which they did. Not to mention, Dylan Cease busted up Trey Mancini early in the series. He took Trey Mancini out right away, and that really helped. Mancini did end up playing on Sunday, I believe.
Yes.
He bounced back from the elbow, but Cease went behind the elbow pad and hit that back elbow, and knocked him the fuck out. And he like stayed in the game. And then on Thursday, they showed him try to throw from first, and the throw his arm got real low, like underneath his elbow level. And it was just like, my arm is about to fall off. I must go and sit on the bench. So, I mean, all in all, a great series, but I love the stealthiness of Cease whacking out their best hitter early on in the series. I think, Tony said this is going to be like a family. I think Dylan Cease is one of your main soldiers in this.
That was his first. His first hit.
That was his first hit. I agree.
I was super relieved that Mancini played on Sunday because, like, if he was out for the season, like if that broke something and he was out for the season, like my mother-in-law holds grudges. She would never forgive the White Sox. It would be a problem for like the rest of my life. So,
Thanksgiving dinner would not have gone well.
Had he
been out.
No, I mean she's still mad at Phillip Rivers for I forget what. Like, but like it happened like his rookie year, like so,
like 30 years ago.
Yeah, which was I think in the 70s. So another thing, I just thought about was Cesar Valdez. My dreams of trading for him were dashed, mostly because he's terrible. Like I had not seen a Cesar Valdez pitch, right? I had only, read his stats. I was like, oh, this guy's been good. I think, this is someone you look at. And then I saw him pitch and I was like, this guy is not my kind of guy.
It's all changeup, but really when you have nothing else, changeup is just slow ball.
Yeah, it's
just throw it real slow up there. I don't know what hits it.
Slow four-seamer, basically.
Exactly.
No, that weather was the best, though. And I know you guys are like clipping down. Oh, it was too cold. I'm saying, fuck that, man. We had a doubleheader. We had one game we were in the sun, and then we had to chase sun for the next one. Yep. And that was fine. And I am a man that likes to be a little cold. Okay. And I'm rarely ever a little cold. I'm always hot. I'm running hot regardless. And that Friday night, and I know that we talked about it. I think we talked about it a little bit. No, we didn't talk about it. Friday in the Sunday Soak, we talked about it.
Yeah. That's right.
Just that the Sox, kind of they banged the game late because they wanted to give everybody.
Ooh.
They wanted to give everybody their bobblehead. So we got in there, got our bobbleheads, and then I reluctantly bought a fucking $13 thing of loaded fries. And then 5 bites into it, it's fucking the game's over. They're like, come back tomorrow. You get your free money. So I had 5 tickets that night. I didn't because people had given me tickets. So in the grand scheme of things, like I probably didn't lose any money, but because I only bought 1 ticket, I lost about $40. So Jerry, you owe me $40. So just so you know. Now going
shortly.
Yeah, I'm sure it's in the mail.
He'll PayPal that to you.
You know what? Give me Sox money. The Sox dollars. From the park. Give me some cash. Give me some of that shit.
You promise not to make facsimiles of it and pass out to everyone.
Will not happen. It is serial numbered. I could not do that. That is counterfeiting. I don't want to go to MLB jail. Okay, I assume there's a jail for that. If you counterfeit real money, I'm sure they put you in jail. Like I know that happens. So if they put you,
Harold Reynolds was in there a little too handsy, but he's out on work release right now.
And I go with this, and I know that the Baltimore sucks, right? They're horrible. They're a horrible team, but that's what would make losing to them even worse. And like, how many times has a horrible team come into the South Side in the last 5 years, and we get beat by them? Or we make them look really, really good, and we did not do that. We destroyed these motherfuckers. Brewhan Luke came his pants because he saw Billy Hamilton hit a home run. He was in the beer line and he came running down like a fucking deadhead, like looking for a free ticket, fucking hair flailing, and just fist pumping, throw banging. It was dope. So
that was fun because he didn't even kind of dive into the group celebrating the home run. He kind of did his own thing that wasn't a dance. I mean, it was a little bit like how Elaine danced in Seinfeld, something of that vein, but the hair was flowing and everything. He was having a great time.
Yeah, that guy gets down.
I mean, I was seeing this from afar.
Yep.
So it
That's right.
It looked like Carrot Top had just finished the show and was in the crowd high-fiving. Like it was awesome. I love it.
Like a not weird looking Carrot Top. Right? Non-weird looking.
Not yoked out Carrot Top.
Because now he's weird looking.
But I was like, hey, you guys see Brewhan Luke down there? And everyone's like, where? And I'm like, are you fucking kidding? The most noticeable thing in that whole area.
No, I thought it was a great series, from my aspect, fan wise. I didn't care much for the wave. We discussed that already in the Sunday Soak. Also, if you want to watch me yell about things, tune into that. But yeah, I thought it was just like everyone was getting excited again, and it was like getting full. You got 60% back, so you have a lot of more people around. And it didn't go as awfully as I thought it was going to, especially with being a giveaway like that. Holiday weekend, so I think what's happening, and I'm not sure if this is what's happening or not, but I think what's happening is that people are excited that they can go places again. And so like a lot of people probably took off for the weekend versus go to the Sox game, but we still had like 24, which I thought would be about normal. I think Saturday, it was like 18,000 on Saturday or whatnot. So, and I think it was
50.
Yeah, but it's just like we're not used to that, and we're not used to that many people there. I think that's the biggest thing. Like we're not usually used to we're used to them selling 22,000 tickets.
Right,
we're just not used to 22,000 people actually showing up.
Yeah, that's a good point.
The security was fine. They got people into the park. I don't know how it was later, but when I got there was never a line. There wasn't a line when we got there early. We got there like 11:30 or something for that doubleheader, and like there was nothing. Like we walked right in, and the security guys let us walk in and out. That was nice. Like you can't get scanned out, which kind of sucks. But they let you walk out to like burn another ticket if you had an extra, because maybe your Aussie Sox fan gave you one. Was like, here, get me a bobblehead, mate. And I'm like, okay, I'll get you one, mate. And then I did. So yeah, it was
great impression.
It was fun. Yeah, well, I didn't really do it.
He doesn't want to do it.
I don't want to do it right now. I'm not. The whiskey hasn't
fright.
got me there yet. Right. I'm not there with the whiskey. But overall, listen, we got to win those. I mean, we did. So that's what we needed to do. So we move on. We move on to the next one.
All right. So I mean that series was great. I always enjoy beating the shit out of teams. I don't care how bad the team is. So I loved it. Let's move on to the Cleveland series. And so I have to ask the question, why Jimmy Lambert? And he didn't even I don't think he necessarily did terrible or anything. It just seemed like an interesting choice. His ERA is, I think, over 7 in the minors.
Yep.
That's correct.
So it's weird that you go to him, but then you look at their roster and it's kind of all like that. I think I don't want to spoil too much of your thunder because I know you're going to ask us about some guys, but the best pitcher out of their starters is something called Mike Wright.
Mike Wright Jr.
Mike Wright Jr.
Jr. Maybe.
And I was like, well, yeah, they're not going to bring that guy up. He's like a 31-year-old AAA guy who washed out of Baltimore. And then I thought, maybe that is who you bring up. They seem to do all right with Yerman.
Why not?
So I was. That's an option. I honestly, and I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I looked at their roster and I thought this would have been a time to bring up Cody Medeiros, and just try and get a Cody Medeiros, Ryan Burr, Matt Foster, 5 or 6 innings, and then see where you're at.
Yes, exactly.
Ryan Burr almost died. I looked up and I was like, oh fuck, Ryan Burr's back. Oh shit, he might be dead.
When he dove, and his arm almost.
Well, and he was holding here like he got the Marilyn Manson surgery, man. It's take it easy, dude. You don't have to pitch if it hurts that bad. Or you go to the bench. He was like, fuck this, I'm staying in the game. And he did fine when he actually stayed in the game. Tracy, your point is well taken. Jimmy Lambert, why was Jimmy Lambert coming up? I think the bottom line is with the AAA starters right now is you don't have a guy deserving of a promotion right now. Earlier in the season, they tried Jonathan Stever. It was at that really fucking cold-ass game on a Sunday against Texas where they brought him in. Chorizy, we left kind of right before he came in, and we didn't even get back to my place, which is only 4 blocks away, before his ass was the fuck out of the game and have given up 3 runs. So I don't think they got a real guy there, so I think it just kind of it was time that lined up for them. and they were like, okay, let's bring Lambo up. I would like to see them just go once through the order. So like what you were talking about, like bringing up a Cody Medeiros or some reliever and try to do 2 innings. I would have just done 2 innings with him. I would have just said, look, you're just doing 9 batters, and then when the 9 batters are up, whatever the fuck you've done so far, that's your game for you right there. Like
he would have looked good if they did that.
He would have, yeah, exactly, because he crapped out kind of after that shit, and it's like, okay, well, he hung a pitch to Jose Ramirez, and Jose Ramirez hit a home run. Yeah, no shit, that's what Jose Ramirez does to bad pitchers. He hits a home run when they fuck up, and they fuck up a lot. So like, you kind of don't want to give them the exposure. I took a look at that Charlotte Knights rotation, and I want to play a quick little game with you guys, as you alluded to a little earlier, Chorizy. We're going to go through, and they've got, let's see, they've got 6 guys who've made starts down there. And I want to play a game with you if a guy has above 6 ERA or below 6 ERA. Okay, we'll play it. It'll be quick. We'll go through it. Jimmy Lambert, as you already mentioned, go ahead, Chorizy.
He's over.
He's over.
He's 7.71.
7.71 is correct. He does have 23 strikeouts in only 11 2/3 innings, but he's already given up 4 bombs. He's kind of like a little bit home run prone at that level. So maybe that's why they brought him up. He had the strikeout ball. How about a Jonathan Stever, who we already saw up here? He has an infinity ERA with the Sox this year, but what's his ERA in Charlotte? Above or below 6?
I'm going to say below, but just below. Like 5.68.
Yeah, I'm going to go with my Sox summer on this. I'm going to say below.
Awesome. He is exactly at 6.0. Oh. Trick question.
Push.
All right.
That's a push.
How about a Felix Paulino? I don't even know what a Felix Paulino is. Do you think above or below 6.0?
I'm going to say above. Like I'm going to say double digits for Felix Paulino.
Close enough. It's at 9. It might as well be 30.
Oh.
All right. How about a Mike Wright Jr., who you previously mentioned, Chorizy?
So yeah, he's way under. He's like a 2 something, right?
Yeah, 2.74 ERA for a Mike Wright Jr. How about a name we know and love, a guy who's been here? He's pitched a lot of innings for the White Sox during the rebuild. Reynaldo Lopez. What do you think? Above or below 6.0?
Well,
my Sox summer is.
I'm saying above.
Okay.
I'll say above too. I'll say like I don't know if that much above, but I'll say above.
Is he right at 6?
6.55. He is above.
Wow.
The whips on these guys too is like there's a lot of base runners going on down there in Charlotte. And then the last guy is something called Matt Tomshaw. I might not even be pronouncing that right. I don't know what that is. I guess you have to have 5 starters in AAA, and some of them are guys I've never heard of. Above or below 6 ERA?
Oh man, I mean like I'm gonna say below because I think his ERA is pi.
Okay.
Because you made him up.
I say it's over.
You say it's over. It is actually 5.92. So just a little,
God damn it.
A pubic hair below 6.0. So not that bad. And I see up in the comments, Alex Rude's talking about the juice ball in the Charlotte Park, and yeah, I know, I get that. It's a tough pitching environment, but still, they're all over 6. I mean, like what the fuck? 6 runs per 9 innings? Like someone couldn't throw a strikeout or 2? Like what the hell's going on? And not to mention, AAA isn't usually flooded with the best prospects. AAA has like the Brian Goodwins and Tim Beckhams of the world. So what the fuck?
Didn't Adam Engel have like 27 home runs there last year or 2 years ago? I think he did. Yeah, but to be fair. Yeah, to be fair. Jimmy Lambert, Chorizy, just a call back to what you said earlier. You said he make him look good. You can't make that guy look good. He makes Liam Hendricks look like a poster boy, like just like a team heartthrob. He is not a good looking man. And like, listen, we're not, I know we talk about other people's looks a lot, and we're not like the best looking guys out there or whatever.
But we're above average though.
I mean, he is not ugly. And so then I went and looked at some numbers too, but I didn't memorize them like Chorizy did so we could win this contest. But I was like, I don't understand why this guy's here. But then I looked at numbers and like, now I understand exactly why he's here. And if this is our future, we need to fucking win now. So let's maybe the front office, maybe we'll see this and say, you know what? Like, maybe we should sign some people and we keep this train rolling because we ain't got nothing in the cupboard. Like, ain't nothing there. So it's fucking bare. Because if this is our best, if Rolando Lopez is our second best option, coming up, it's like that's not good. So
I think Tommy Tomshaw is our best option, right? Is that
that is a
Tommy
that
Ups.
is a Matt Tomshaw.
Matt
whatever that
Tomshaw?
is.
Okay, got it.
The point is,
I'll remember that name.
I don't know if they have any options at AAA. Like if anything, like we've been hampered by injuries on the position player side, right? But the starting pitchers have stayed incredibly fucking healthy. If anything happens to the starting pitchers, I mean, whatever that shit is down in AAA, you got to figure out something else. Like that can't be it.
This is the problem, right? Is that Kopech is out, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like Kopech starts that game if he's healthy,
right?
But he's not, and so then you get into the depth, and the depth is scary.
It's it is. Imagine how scary it was before the season when we didn't know that Reynaldo Lopez and Dylan Cease were good.
You mean Carlos Rodon?
Rodon.
Oh yeah,
Reynaldo Lopez.
Ronaldo's
not good.
Not good. Still not good.
Rodon, yeah.
We knew that before the season. Still know it.
Yeah, Reynaldo Lopez, stinky, very stinky. Yeah, Carlos Rodon is what it is.
I mean, there's not much there. I don't even want to talk about it anymore. So let's talk about losing the series to Cleveland instead. So one thing, because I like being positive, guys. You know me. I'm a very positive guy. I always want to talk about the most fun and good things, or not.
Fun and good, yes.
But what I do want to talk about is something that happened yesterday in the games towards the end. When the Sox were stealing bases and going first to third, making the Indians try and get them out, try and beat them. That's something the Sox have been doing kind of all year. I mean, like when you look at the Royals series, there was that play where Whit Merrifield threw out, I think it was Yoel Moncada at home plate.
Yep.
But it was a perfect throw, right? They're like daring teams to make these perfect plays because they know that a lot of times the defense is just not that good. These guys in the outfield, half the guys in the outfield, like we have it with the Sox too. Half the guys playing the outfield you see out there are not supposed to be in the outfield, right? They're like, it's like a first baseman who's playing there. It's a second baseman who's moved out there. Like Tommy Edman, trying to catch the ball with his mitt closed, or Josh Naylor throwing the ball directly into the ground like he's Tim Tebow. Like there's a lot of those in Major League Baseball right now, and the Sox are running on all these guys, and the Sox are trying to make these guys make bad decisions, and I love it. I want more of that. I want guys stealing bases. I want every time Billy Hamilton's on, I want him stealing every base. Like make them throw you out. Like that's your purpose, right? Is to make these guys nervous. Get guys on third base when you're facing a curveball pitcher. Like all of these things that they were doing to put pressure on these other guys is important. And I love seeing that. Like, I feel like that is one thing that they have been consistently doing throughout the season. They did it yesterday. It didn't completely work out, right? Like, but they put themselves in a position that they were a Jose Abreu hit away from at least going ahead in that game.
Right.
And like, that's the way you need to be. You need to be in that position at the end of games. You don't, like, if you're getting your ass kicked and you just give up, like, that's not the team that's going to win a championship, right? The team that's going to win a championship gets their asses back in that game and does something about it. And yeah, it doesn't always work out, but if you're putting yourself in a position where Jose Abreu's at bat, and you've got that 10 times in a season, six of those times you're going to win that game, right? Like, so I love it. I love the way that they approached that. I love the way that they were pushing on the other team. And they've been doing that. I want to just keep seeing that.
Chorizy, that's a great macro point, especially in a run environment in which the home runs have absolutely fucking disappeared. They've fallen off a big shelf, and they've fallen off a shelf even worse for the White Sox kind of than the rest of the league. Home runs are down across the league, but the White Sox are really not homering at all, and it's because they just don't have the firepower of guys who would homer that would be in this lineup. So having sort of a big macro pivot to, all right, we're going to play a game where we're just going to be really aggressive, and we're going to try to score on these people and take advantage of these spots is really smart baseball. And it's kind of funny. All the small ball people that have been talking small ball for the last 20 years, when it hasn't been worth the shit because you just hit a bunch of home runs and you don't want to run and take those risks, it's flipping over. Now you do want to take those risks because the ball's made of goddamn sawdust and no one can hit it out of the park. And so it makes sense to make those plays. So I love the overarching point.
Yeah, no, I agree. Chorizy, it was something that I actually wrote down I was going to bring up too. It's like I can take these close losses, and especially at the end of games when we're in it, still trying to win it. Like it's like just haven't given up, or we're not down 14-3 in the third, and it's just that's fun. Like every once in a while, like when you get and like New York when they're against Garrett Cole and they got whooped up. I mean, you expect that's going to happen against a good pitcher, but like they just don't seem to stop, and they're playing the cards that they've been dealt, and that's where they're at. Now, you brought up Jose Abreu, and we brought him up last night. And I don't know this, and I couldn't find stats, so I can't even defend it or whatever. But you called him clutch, and he said he's had a lot of clutch hits. And I said,
You said no. That's not how the conversation went.
Okay, so I said he didn't have a lot of clutch.
You said he never does that. He never hits in those positions. He never has game-winning hits. And I said that's total bullshit. I said that like and like I've definitely seen him have game-winning hits. So, it's like, but maybe
and you said 20 last year.
I said he had
20 last year.
I said he had 20 out of like 30 wins were his game-winning hits because that was a joke.
So, but this is where we're different, okay? And this is what I was trying to think about it today. And I'm talking about walk-off, like Jose Abreu, like at the end of games, like that kind of stuff, or the end of the eighth when it was the wild card, right? Like he had bases loaded and he grounded into a double play or whatever. And I wish baseball. Fuck you, baseball, for not having this goddamn stat available to me like immediately. Like I want to know where his walk-off stat is, and you can't find it.
I bet someone in the comments will come up with this stat in the next 5 minutes.
Okay, that'd be great.
It's
really hard to
find.
It's
hard to find it.
But I also looked up who has the most walk-off wins, and 3 of the guys in the top 10, and there are a lot of people with 10 walk-off wins, are White Sox players. Do you guys want to take a guess at who's the first one with the most walk-off like victories or walk-off hits, walk-off homers?
Is this all time or is this
yeah.
Okay.
This is all time. And the first White Sox that like comes up in the list, like the highest one up.
So if it's all time and it's career, we got to get someone with a long career, right? Like so I mean like Frank Thomas feels like it would be a good guess. I'll go. Frank Thomas is in the top 10.
Well, he's in the top 10. But the number one of the White Sox players are in there
is Harold.
Okay, he's in there too. So the number one guy I think with 14 or 15 is Jim Thome. So he has the most walk-off home runs. And then you have a Frank Thomas with 10. You have a Dick Allen with 10. You have a Harold Baines with 10, like from what I can remember from the actual article. But I was just like, holy fuck, there's like a shitload of White Sox. But Jose Abreu was notably absent, even though he had 20 of them last year. So I don't know. I don't know how that happened. It's very crazy.
Yes.
I know Jose gets these hits, and sometimes he gets them in like the third, the fourth, the fifth, like in these times, and that's why he gets the moniker of the garbage time Jose Abreu. But like
I never knew you were serious about that. I never knew that you thought that he had a bullshit.
Yeah, I thought it was a joke. I thought you were doing this a joke.
I guess
it's 100% a joke.
He fucking sucks.
It's 100% a joke, but like up until and then it starts coming true. But like he did, like it's his clutch performances I don't think are as prevalent as people like to think they are. Like he doesn't, and he gets in that position for some reason. I don't know if it gets in his head or whatever, but he performs badly sometimes in those situations. Like he seems to be better when it's just like, the game's still going. It's not clutch time. So I feel like I'm not calling him not clutch, I'm just
You
saying
are
that
calling
he's
him not clutch.
I am calling him not clutch.
Own it.
I'm not
He's
saying
gonna-
he's not a good
you're
not a
saying
good
it.
hitter in
This is going to
clutch
spiral
situations.
out of control on Twitter. You're going to get.
I need to
fucking
see
bodied
this.
on Twitter.
I want to know what's going to happen. No one listens to our podcast anyway, so we're not
That's
going to
true.
get bodied on
There's
Twitter.
no one
So I'm not
listening.
worried about that.
You're right about
So,
that.
but anyway, I'll give it. I'll go up. But I just thought it was an interesting little caveat. That you have like all these White Sox players, former White Sox guys that had the most walk-off home runs like of all time, which I was like, this is insane. So,
Chorizy, I think Cleveland has figured out the same formula that the White Sox have figured out, and that's the reason why they're so close in the division right now. And that is beat the shit out of the Central. Cleveland is 20. Cleveland's 21-12, and the White Sox are 18-11. So they figured out we play these shitty teams a lot. Just beat up these shitty teams, and we'll figure out a method to do it. They do a lot with pitching, and actually the White Sox have done a lot with pitching as well. And it was kind of weird this series. Cease was off his game. He wasn't quite there. Rodon was off his game. I couldn't figure out if they were actually off or if it's like the middle of a season looks like this. The middle of the season is just like, guys don't perform all the time. You're tired or whatever. You're getting into 9, 10, and 11 starts for each of the pitchers. And they're hitting a rough patch maybe. They're getting a little fatigued. I don't know what the deal is. But you couldn't expect everyone to have these sub-2 ERAs for that fucking long. Shit was going to turn the other way, and now it feels like it's starting to. And unfortunately, it did against a shitty-ass Cleveland lineup because they don't really, especially not without Franmil Reyes.
Franmil Reyes is the biggest guy that I've ever seen play baseball. He's like 7'5" and 600 pounds.
He's about Andre the Giant size.
Yes, I mean I don't know why he just looks humongous every time. Like I don't know if like it's just like some optical illusion, but like he looks gigantic every time he's on my television.
He'll also take a gigantic elephant shit in the bathtub in the hotel if you dare him to.
I fucking hope so.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, like how Cleveland just is managing to get by. They don't have the big run differential like the Sox. Like they don't beat the shit out of teams like the Sox do, but they're scraping across the wins. And you see the back of their bullpen is tough, man. They got a Brian Shaw. They've got a James Karanchek who was probably cheating, and is all hopped up on Mountain Dew. And they have Emmanuel Clace. I mean, they got good back of the bullpen.
So I'm gonna say something about I'm gonna say a few things about them right now. So one, I don't think that's cheating. Just I don't think putting pine tar on your hand and pitching is cheating. You know why? Because I could put pine tar on my hand and bat all fucking day.
Okay, all right.
Why does one guy get to have a good grip and the other guy doesn't?
Yeah, that's a good question.
And why, if you don't want the guy to have a good grip, why you got the rosin bag out there? You should have a fucking water balloon out there if you don't want this guy to have any grip. That's the problem is that you're drawing a line in the sand of like rosin's good, pine tar fucking unacceptable. Like
right.
It's just and I'm thinking about it and I'm like NFL players have had more tar and shit on their hands than I've ever seen in my whole life. If they high five each other, they might get stuck together. Yes. And it is made for some of the best fucking catches I've ever seen in my life. So why can't a guy like who gets just a little more grip on the ball throw an awesome pitch so that I could watch it? Like you can see these guys when they get that good spin and they have like those curveballs, like you could see that shit on TV, man. Like it moves enough where you're like, holy shit, that moved around. I want that. I want to see that. And you know what? It's not like they can't hit this motherfucker. They looked fine against him yesterday. Like you could put all the pine tar on there that you want, but you're going to expose yourself when you know that like you don't trust your catcher with your fucking curveball, right? Like so there you could still beat these guys. But like I think letting them have a better grip on the ball, I don't see a problem with it. Now, if he's out there filing the baseball down with sandpaper so that it like moves differently, I get it. I mean, like maybe you're taking it a little far, but like just getting a better grip on it, like there's some things that you allow for that, and there's some things that you don't. I don't know. I mean, like the hitters have the whole all the smorgasbord of options that they want, right? Like they can wear fucking body armor up there, wear gloves, put pine tar up to the George Brett line. Like they can do all that shit, but the pitcher can't just get a little bit better grip on the ball. That's bullshit.
You know what, Chorizy, low key fix to help the run environment a little bit. Just let the hitters cork their bats. Just let them add that. Let them cork their bats, and then we're not going to change anything else. We're not moving the fucking mound back. We're not doing any of this shit. We're not checking the whatever they got on their hands. Fucking let them cork their bats, and we'll fix this in the short term. Then baseball can figure this shit out later after they argue about all the money in the offseason.
I think the pitchers would be fine with moving the mounds back once we institute aluminum bats.
The mound at 90 feet.
Yeah. May I pitch from second base?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So Josh came with some stats, and like I guess I looked up home runs, who had the most home run walk-offs. And that's definitely Jim Thome with 13. But Harold Baines has the most as a White Sox player's hit with 13, but 10 of those 13 are home runs. So like
nice.
Like it's just insane. And Frank Thomas is actually not in the top 10. So he didn't get up there, but Dick Allen is with 10. So it's insane. Like it was just a crazy little thing. 23 career hits after the 7th inning, giving the White Sox a lead. I mean,
that seems clutch to me. I don't know how clutch works, but that feels clutch.
That seems a lot better than what I was thinking. Yes. I was just going by the last 2 times I saw him in a position.
You know what, my Sox summer, I'll give it to you if that's 23 out of like 500. Like if he had 500 at bats where he got up in the 7th inning where he could have given them the lead, and only 23 he converted on. I'll give it dirty.
He's a dirty whore. Your brother's a dirty whore. He is.
What a jerk.
You know what? You came at me yesterday with this shit, right? And now you brought it back up today without finding anything.
Well, because they said I could have,
and I can't talk any shit because I'm a bad guy.
Yes. Body him, Chorizy. Body him.
Oh, he's bodying me. He's gonna box me out. Box me out.
No way, man. I love my Sox summer and his whiskey ways.
The whiskey got you.
And not yet. Let's hope not.
That's our next shirt. The whiskey got you.
Rest in peace. Get some water
with the my Sox summer van picture. Can we get a GIF on a shirt?
Possibly. I mean, probably. I don't think they would be very cheap, and we can't go through our supplier. But yeah, probably could happen.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about the White Sox roster because there's some interesting things here that I want to get into, and one of which is the fact that Adam Engel is going to return at some point. Like he's back in Charlotte. My Sox summer, I think he has just under 27 home runs right now.
Yep, just under.
7 of them are off Jimmy Lambert, which is weird, but different rules down there in the minors. But so he is going to come back, right? I mean, like he's starting to play, assuming that he doesn't have some major setback, he's going to be back on the roster. And the question then becomes, who is no longer on the roster? And that's a difficult question because guys that you would not expect to be performing are starting to perform. So the BeefLoaf favorite, Jake Lamb, ever since I talked shit to BeefLoaf about it, the guy has not stopped hitting. Like he just comes up and Cornzy's throwing it in my face when we're at home. She's like, "Oh man, this guy Lamb, he just hits." And I'm just like, "Yeah, motherfucker." And then Bruhan Luke's guy, Billy Hamilton. I mean, the guy's hitting home runs. The guy's in there getting back rubs from Frank Menachino. He's showing Jake Lamb how he's hitting and the differences in his approach. And then he's going out there and smacking. I'll just call it an inside the park home run because I want it.
Oh, yes, it should count as one. I agree.
Like it's Billy Hamilton, so I'm gonna get overzealous on like him doing okay, but he is hitting the ball well, right? He's hitting the ball better than Billy Hamilton has hit it in his whole career. Maybe it's the pine tar. I have no idea.
Yeah,
but it makes getting rid of somebody so much more difficult because Billy Hamilton, for example, gives you a lot of little things, right? He's a guy that you do want to pinch run late in the games. He is currently your best center fielder.
Yep.
And even with Adam Engel returning, Adam Engel's a little hobbled. If he's not 100%, Billy Hamilton's probably still your best center fielder. And he's always been a plus fielder.
Yep.
If he can hit a little bit too, I mean, and he's a switch hitter, like there's some value to him. I'm not saying that Billy Hamilton should be starting, right?
Right.
Like I want Luis Robert to start, right? Like that's who should be starting.
Yeah.
But he's not there. Adam Engel should probably start in front of him if he's healthy. But who are we getting rid of? Who's off of this roster? Because like I feel like we all want to say Lurie, but they're not going to get rid of Lurie, are they?
No.
So I ask you guys, who do you think is the odd man out here?
I mean, I think it's going to be strictly based on who has options. And the man who has options, unfortunately to him, he's playing decently, is Danny Mendick. So I think he's actually the one who physically goes to AAA. However, you said who's the odd man out when Adam Engel returns. And so I took this in two different directions. I obviously the guy who gets demoted and goes to AAA, I think it's Mendick, and I think it's going to be kind of obvious. It's unfortunate, but it's good actually, because then you have additional depth in the minors if anything happens, if injuries or whatever. But the guy who's going to miss out, in my opinion, the guy who is going to lose out in Adam Engel coming back, I think, is Billy Hamilton. I suspect gradually they're going to work Engel back in and start playing him more and more often. And I think he's going to steal playing time from the folk hero that is Billy Hamilton. And that sucks. And I actually think that's going to be the next big White Sox Twitter civil war between the Hamilton homies and the people that really love the wagon. And I think they might go at it over those starts, because there's a limited amount of those until Luis Robert comes back, fingers crossed, And you can kind of wedge them into the same lineup occasionally. I guess against a lefty, you could probably play them both. You might play Engel in right, and you put Hamilton in center. But I think for the most part, Engel's going to squeeze Hamilton out, and that's going to suck for a lot of people, I think.
Go ahead, my sucks.
No, go ahead. No, I want to hear all the thoughts before I put my thoughts.
I was just going to say that I don't think that that's a bad role for Billy Hamilton, to be honest, though. Like if he's the late inning replacement for an outfielder, right? Like if he's coming in for if he's coming in for Vaughn in the in the seventh inning, pinch running, and then playing the rest of the game in the outfield, you're feeling pretty good about an outfield that's a Hamilton, Engel, and Eaton. Right, like that's a pretty nice outfield that you got going. So like I don't hate that role for him, but yeah, it does. It's gonna suck for people who are like they think that Billy Hamilton's having like a resurgence,
right?
Like, which maybe he is, but like at the same time, he could go right back to not hitting.
Right, but I think there's probably a group of people, and I might actually be in this group of people that would like to see him go back to not hitting before we just sort of junk him to the bench and turn him into the pinch runner again. He was a big prospect. I mean, you remember this, Chorizy. He was a big prospect. And it was like, if he just hits enough, the speed and the defense and all this stuff is going to be a different player than we got in this era. This is going to be like 80s Cardinals type player. Is going to be stealing bases all over the place. He's older now, and he's not that guy. But I kind of love the resurgence of former prospect lands on team, and the fans fucking love him, man. He came back out to the outfield every inning. People were screaming, Billy. Yep. It's fun to see a role player like take on that folk hero status, and it will absolutely fucking suck if he has to go to the bench. Now, I know a lot of people like Adam Engel, but Billy's kind of taken on this role, this mystique that we've been missing. I mean, dare I say, we haven't had someone who had this sort of fan mystique since Daniel Palka.
Well, hold on, because that guy comes up in my discussion. Now listen. So okay. First off, Billy Hamilton is our favorite Flav. Okay, he's our hype man right out there in center field. He fucking gets everybody excited. He jumps around. He comes in when he scores. He's just somebody really good to have around. Agree with all your guys' points. Now, Jake Lamb, he's serviceable. He's doing fine. He's doing great. Who's also out there in left field doing really good too? Vaughn, he's doing fine. He's playing the position. But who's not doing so great? Who used to be a folk hero, who we all said was going to come down to earth so soon enough, but everyone's really surprised now that he has come back down to earth, and that's Yerman Mercedes. So I think what we have, because like, what do we got now? Engel was supposed to be back like 8 weeks ago. So we probably have about 4 more weeks before he's back because he's coming soon. So we probably got about 4 more weeks.
He's a fast healer, I've heard.
In these 4 weeks, if Yermin Mercedes does not make the adjustments he needs to make to get back to hitting, you got to put him down. And I don't know if he's out of options. If he's out of options,
no, he's got options.
You got to put him down. You put Engel in left. You put Lamb in left or right, whatever. Those 2 on the corners. Keep Hamilton in center. You take Vaughn. You put him at a DH position. I mean that to me seems like probably a better way to do it because Vaughn seems to be trending up and Mercedes seems to be trending down. And that's just the old eye test, guys. I didn't look at any numbers or nothing. I'm sure Sal's going to make up another bullshit tweet like he already did about Jose Abreu and put it out there on the internet so I get canceled. No big whoop. I don't care. All right. But yeah, I think that's something that I wouldn't be opposed to. It probably is not going to happen as your guys' situations seem to be a little bit more reasonable, but I feel like you could do that and let Vaughn focus on just hitting. And listen, he hasn't hurt himself yet. So maybe we don't need him to hurt himself. Like he's not supposed to be playing there. You know, we have a guy that can play there. So I don't know. You keep him. You got to keep Billy Hamilton because I mean, if we traded for Dyson last year to run, and this guy's just as fast as Dyson for Christ's sake, we need that player. So I don't know. It's just I don't like saying that we should put down Yermin and like just have him be gone. But like I just don't. I don't know if you're not contributing, it doesn't mean you can't come back up. You know, like you got to kind of move on. Like we can't. How many times we got to see it before we say, all right, enough's enough. Let's move on. Like just play your hot hand, and then because you never know where it's coming from.
So I think you could. I mean, I agree with you. You could see Yermin start losing at bats if he doesn't pick it back up, right? Like especially you could see him losing some bats to actually Jose Abreu and having either Vaughn or Lamb play a couple games at first, right? Like I mean, Abreu loves being out there every day. He loves, playing as much as possible. But at the same time, like we have to realize that this is a team that you want to go to the playoffs, that you want to perform in the playoffs. And Jose Abreu is 64 years old. So like you want to give him some rest, right? Like
clutch as fuck.
He's clutch as fuck.
And 64 years old.
Damn right he is. I'm not sure he's 64. It might be a little
but
young.
He's slightly. But he's older, right? I mean, like you got to take care of these older players, right? You got to give them some breaks. And so I could see Yermin losing at bats to Lamb and Vaughn in that situation when you have a full outfield, when you have like 3 real outfielders out there. So I think that's a good point, Isaac Summer, that like what they could do is move some of the guys that they're playing in the outfield into these DH first base roles and then put Yermin on the bench. It makes sense.
Yeah, I totally agree. I hadn't thought about the Yermin angle, but I think you're right, and I think the way you're caveating it, Chorizy, makes a ton of sense too. If you carve down Yermin's plate appearances to just his most effective and allowed someone else to flow into those spots, and like you're saying, and my Sox Summer's point is great, you let Vaughn take the DH spots when it's less effective for Mercedes, and then you kind of fill in the rest of it, a little more defense, a little more run prevention. There's probably a little bit of juice to squeeze out of that shit. There's probably, I don't know if fully sending him down to the minors is the best for this 25-man or 26-man roster, but it might not be that far away, especially when you start getting the big guns back. You might start looking at it like, well, we lack flexibility with him in that spot. He's either got to hit a ton as DH or he has no position and you can't use him. So it's interesting.
That's the thing.
I don't think they send him down though. And the reason I don't think they send him down though is because it's possible that he's a trade chip, right? Like, cause he's, if someone thinks that he can hit for them and be, DH catcher in air quotes, there might be a team out there willing to trade something for a Yermin, right? Like I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility, and you would be cashing in on just a flyer. Like that's the kind of thing that's worth cashing in on. Now I love him too much to want to see him go.
Yes.
but I get it. I mean, I think he does start losing at bats at some point, And I don't know. I don't think they send him to the minors, but I do think you're right that like the at bats start getting shaved away by these guys that are playing in the outfield right now.
And it's not. And I feel like he's going to. I want to give him a shot though. I want to give him a chance. I don't want to do what they did with Palka in 2019, where they like pop him up, pop him down, pop him up, pop him down, because I think that's unfair. You know, you got to let the guy kind of develop something before he gets just like jettisoned out. And then he had it, and now he's lost it. Let's let him get back. Like, give him a chance to get back, because I think he can get back. And he's still, from what I read on Twitter, he's still hitting the ball very hard. It's just going foul, or it's going straight back, or it's going, it's just going into somebody's glove or whatever. I don't remember what I read. But yeah, it's just like, let's just see what happens.
No, I'm with you. So another roster spot that's interesting, and that is almost feels wasted in some respects, is one Garrett Crochet. And it's not because I think Garrett Crochet is bad. I think he's a good pitcher. I like watching him play. I don't think he looks as much like John Holmes as BeefLoaf does, but at the end of the day,
well, you're wrong about that.
He's an interesting looking guy, and he might be well endowed. You never can tell these things.
Loaf's looking waist down, you're looking waist up. So.
You know what? That's possible.
That could be it. That could be the thing.
But so at the end of April, Crochet went on the IL. He returned May 11th. Since then, the Sox have played 23 games. Crochet has pitched 7 times. A total of, I think, like 100 and something pitches. It's about 16 per game. 23 is the most he pitched in a game since he's been back. And the game before him going on the IL, he threw like 46 pitches. So my question to you guys is La Russa afraid of breaking Crochet, or is he slowly getting him back in the groove? Like, what is happening with the usage of Crochet? Because like, that's a guy that I would have thought, we've got a doubleheader, to the 7-inning doubleheader. Mm-hmm. This would be a guy you would reserve and try and throw for a couple innings, like almost like a starter. Because I think that's eventually what the Sox want him to be. So that opportunity was there, and they did not. They went with Jimmy Lambert. I think we mentioned
Lambo.
So I want to kind of get your guys' feel on what do you guys think about the way that he's being used, and is it appropriate? Is this the correct usage of a Garrett Crochet? My Sox Summer, you could start.
All right. So at first, I don't know what the hell's going on. I don't know if Tony La Russa is saying, hey, let's just ease him back in, or is it the Ethan Katz decision and saying, hey, I don't know if this guy's ready, because you would expect him to be in more of a Michael Kopech like type role. Like, let's let him try. And like you said, in the doubleheader. And I'm kind of befuddled, and I don't know why it is, but there's got to be something. Like, he's making, just based on all the other moves that Tony Russo has made, there's a reason. It seems like there's a reasoning behind this, and a lot of his stuff has been successful. So if he's staying away from it, just to me thinks that maybe there's something isn't fitting. So I'm not exactly sure.
So you think it's a great
answer? I was gonna say, Chorizy, Crochet is the guy who had the injury history. Even in the draft, he was drafted 11th overall. He had the big fastball and velocity, and it was like, okay, this is kind of a steal for the White Sox here, if they can kind of turn him into that guy, And I remember the big homie Keith Law didn't even have him as a top 100 prospect after the season. So coming into this next season, he's like, no, the profile for Crochet is reliever. He could be a really good reliever, but you don't usually put those really good relievers in the top 100. And I know our buddy Josh Nelson has often said his role is going to be the Josh Hader role. If he maxes, it's going to be the guy who throws an inning and 2/3, 2 innings or whatever, and it's just this lights out lefty out of the bullpen. I did think it was funny though that the game the most recent game that he pitched, James Fegan comes out with a tweet. He says, Tony La Russa said they're avoiding back-to-back days of work for Garrett Crochet and working him single innings right now. And then the game starts. Tony doesn't hesitate to throw Crochet 2 innings. He sounded like Rick James talking about Eddie Murphy's couch, put his feet up on his couch. It was exactly the same shit. Now, in fairness to Tony La Russa, Crochet only threw 20 pitches. across the 2 innings. So the first inning was really quick and safe. I think it was 7 pitches or whatever. So that's not a lot. That's almost like throwing a single inning with the 20 pitches. Let me throw this by you, though. There's been a lot made of Tony's age, and he's not with the modern game, and he doesn't have the mental aptitude and all this shit. But I think with Crochet, I think there might be a little bit of gamesmanship, a little bit of sandbagging in this situation. I think they're being cautious, but I think he might be sandbagging a little bit. You think that's possible? I mean, like,
do you think that he's thinking this guy's really good, and I need him later? And you're going really slow with him right now because, and you know, to what I said earlier, it's like when you seemingly overworked him, he went right to the IL.
Right.
And if you're looking at this and going like, all right, I need this guy to be healthy in September. I'm going to use this guy sparingly. No one's going to get much film on him. No one's going to know many of his new pitches because he is throwing different pitches than he did last year. Last year he threw 112-mile-per-hour fastballs exclusively,
and some of them for strikes.
And so maybe like you're thinking, okay, I'll use him sparingly, and then when it comes time, there's not going to be a lot of people that have a read on him. There's not going to be a lot of stress on his arm so far into the season, and he'll be able to go back-to-back nights, or he'll be able to go 2-3 innings in a game in August, in September. Is that kind of where you're going with that?
Yeah, exactly right. And I think you saw it last night. You saw when the lefties had to face him, and they had to face that slider. They didn't have a chance in hell. I mean, they might have got the bat on the ball, but it was a straight pop-up, and they didn't have any chance to make good contact on him, right? So I think when you say, is he scared to break him? Yes, in some ways, but he's trying to figure out usage patterns in which he can get him enough work so that he's sharp, so that when they're going to start riding him real hard, which is going to be September, October, you know, he's not as used. There isn't the risk that he's going to – I think it's one of these things you have to really manage. I think there's probably, you know, you see it every once in a while at certain types of athletes where you got to rest them more than the rest of the guys. They're just not as durable as everybody else. And I think it's probably worth it. The juice is probably worth the squeeze to hold him back a little bit so that when it's really valuable and you're in the playoffs and you got a couple tough lefties you got to face, his ass is available and he's getting those key outs in that situation.
I like your theory. I also like what My Sox Summer said, that like it may be Ethan Katz, right? Like, and Ethan Katz probably gets a closer look at these guys. And if like Garrett Crochet is just like holding his arm after like every time he sees like Ethan Katz, and Ethan Katz is like, and Tony's like, I think I'm gonna go to Crochet. He's like, no, don't do that. I saw him whimpering because his arm was hanging down to his leg, like you know, like that could be a thing. Like that, like Crochet may be kind of protecting him as a guy that like he just doesn't feel can take on the load of what they want out of their relievers, what they want out of Jose Ruiz, what Ricky wanted out of a Jimmy Cordero. Like that is Ethan Katz is probably going, you can't do that.
Well, Chorizy, let's look at it. Let's look at it in the other direction, right? You always kind of look at, like, you know, the modern pitcher usage is based on innings or pitches or whatever, and we're veering farther and farther away from the workhorse, the person that, you know, is the complete game guy or whatever. But what about if you distill it down even further? What if there's some guys who they're only worth a shit for 45 innings for a season? And you're going to get a sub-1 ERA. I think he's at 0.66 right now, and he's throwing absolute fucking BBs all over the place, but he needs a lot of rest. That person's still really valuable. Those 45 innings are fucking valuable, and placed correctly and then used in the playoffs are super valuable, in my opinion.
So here's the problem, and here's the thing. Just because I want you to drink. If you have a guy like that, you need a workhorse guy. Right, because there's you got to eat up a lot of innings, right? Like, right. So like someone has to get the Nate Jones treatment and just throw all the time, right? And there's you may be able to optimize the Crochet innings and get like these 45 innings are going to be beautiful, but there's going to be some shitty innings out of some guy whose arm you're ripping off, right? Like so there's got to be some kind of balance. Or here's the other thing. Here's another way to do this because
drink again. God damn.
because the Sox could use the Kopech injury to their advantage and rotate in guys from the minors. We've talked about how shitty their starting pitching is, but their relief pitching is not terrible. There's a bunch of guys down there who are mediocre. And but mediocre is not bad.
It's passable. That's fine.
People are like, I'm a mediocre looking person, and I've taken that to quite the level.
I've
right?
got mediocre intelligence. I've done just fine with it.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
Mediocrity means half the people are shittier than you.
Yes.
So
yeah, that's right.
So
Little Caesar's Pizza.
You can rotate these guys up because there's no one down there that you're like, oh, this is such a huge trade chip. I don't want to get them exposed in the majors. Fuck that. You can just keep rotating these guys in and out and put a lot of innings, a lot of major league innings on these guys' arms to protect a Garrett Crochet. And if they're average ass innings, that's all you need. Right? Like, so I like what you're saying, but I think the Sox have to do things a little bit differently to truly take advantage of something like that.
Yeah, I have a question. And it goes along with this, and it goes along with like the last three topics. And I actually had sandwiched it before Crochet. And it's like, are we ingesting baseball differently because of last year? Or is this how it's always been? Because I'm looking at watching people on Twitter living and dying with each game. And I don't remember that in 2018. I don't remember that in 2017. And I know we sucked. Yeah. But like, it wasn't like, it's just like, it seems like everyone's real hyper focused on things, and like Yerman is getting the brunt of it right now, and it's just like, I just am wondering, like, I've never seen somebody get attacked so quickly for having, 50 at bats, and it's just like,
I think it has less to do with last season. Okay. And it has to do with the Sox just not being competitive for a while.
Okay.
Because if you go back to 2016, I remember distinctly there were people that were like, we are a playoff team and we can win. And there were people that were like, gut this shit. And it was every other day. You could fall on either side of those. And I know, like, there was points of the season where I'm like, we're doing this shit. And then there was like a few days later, I was like, God, I hope we get Yoel Moncada.
My Sox summer, I think there's also a little bit. I was talking to King Nam about this at one of the games against St. Louis. There's also a little bit of a different cadence for those of us that are like full season ticket holders that are in the stands for lots and lots of games. We're a little slower to react to, oh, someone's doing this or whatever. Mm-hmm. We're screaming and yelling for them, but it takes us some time to be like, oh, this guy is really being bad, and this guy is, and this guy's playing great. But in the internet age and the Twitter age, you can give a take immediately, and it could be immediately bad in like 3 days because it flips over and the guy starts playing better. Whereas like the way we ingest the game, we're all sitting together and whatever. And it's like, someone might say, oh, you know what, so-and-so's not going that good. And everyone's like, oh, they just put it in their ear a little bit. And it's like, okay, let's watch them for a few more games and see what's going on here. There's less of that on the internet now. That's like instant takes kind of for everything. So It feels like you're drinking through a fire hose when it's like, that was only 4 games. Like, who gives a shit? Like even the Yerman thing, like you see the regression with Yerman, but Yerman just had in April an all-time great month, right? So there's a balance there. So when you look at like kind of like the whole body of work, you're like, okay, that's a pretty good DH spot. We would take that if you couldn't see the streaks inside of it, right? If you're just kind of looking at it. So it takes a little bit of like stepping back from it, like we tend to do. Like this is how we ingest the game, right? Like we kind of look at guys and like, although I think most of us are ready to DFA Lurie. But other than that, I think everyone's pretty patient with this team.
No, and Sal put up a good point too, or says that Sox Twitter was a little bit more rational when we were bad. And I don't know if that was necessarily true, but I think it was because less people were participating. Like people didn't really get up in arms about shit. But it just seems like, fucking anytime we lose, it's like, oh God, these guys suck. Fucking everything sucks. It sucks. And like you can't see past, like, okay, there was a lot of positives yesterday. I know we lost, but there was a lot of positives, and a lot of positives towards the end of the game. and we talked about it already. We don't need to rehash it necessarily, but that's the kind of shit that you want to see in the goddamn playoffs. That's what the shit I wanted to see in the AL wild fucking card, in the game 3. I want to see you come out and fucking leave it all out there. Like, if you lose and you leave it out there, I don't give a fuck. Like, it doesn't bother me. You know what? Like Illinois losing to North Carolina in 2005. Like, they tried. They did the best they fucking could. They got fucked by the refs, but whatever. No big deal. They fucking gave it a shot. But Illinois this year, when they got fucking curb stomped by Loyola, that pisses me off more because they did not do what they should have done. They looked like shit, and they were not a good team in there. And that bothers me more than, like going out there and just losing. If you put it out there and you fucking lose, that's fine. But if you fucking aren't trying, and those guys are fucking trying. Goddamn Billy Hamilton sliding into home on his face. Like, if that doesn't get you excited to fucking watch baseball, I mean, my God, it's just like, it's fun to see. And it's just something I wanted to throw in. Chorizy made a great fucking, agenda this week, but it was something I was just, while I'm writing notes, 45 minutes ago, I'm like, hey, what should are we ingesting this differently? Cause people seem really hype, so yeah.
So my Sox Summer, like I hear you on this. Like I definitely, and you see it, like there's people are flipping back and forth and going crazy every game. But you know what? Some people like that, man. Some people like the fucking roller coaster.
Yeah.
Like the roller coaster is exciting, right? Like,
right.
So I like people like the ups and downs. And like, so when I see that on Twitter, when someone's going like, why the fuck did Abreu swing at that? What a piece of shit. That's the emotion of someone who is living and dying with every pitch of the game. And I got no problem with that.
Agreed.
I don't want to do it because I got enough fucking gray hair. Like, I don't need more. But like, I get it. I get why like people can get emotional like that, and I love it. I mean, those are our people. Those are the people that come to the 108 once we get back, and we'll be fucking having an incredible time at the game with us, no matter win or lose. But if it's losing, they're MFing everybody on the field, and you know what? I love it. I love it.
Crazy. I love your thoughts here because there's no perfect way to fan. Everyone should fan the way they should.
Oh.
But some of the people who do it, my Sox Summer, like Chorizy's right. Some of the people that MF these guys, they let that shit go 5 minutes after the game's over, and the next day they're ready. And they're like, all right, this is my team or whatever. And that feels healthy to me. That it feels healthy to like, fuck this guy. And then, okay, all right, tomorrow, all right, I like this guy. It's like the Larry David meme, like, fuck you and see you tomorrow. Like that. That's White Sox fandom right there.
Like, I fucking hate you. We break up. Baby, I love you. Let's get back together. It's like this fucking vicious cycle.
Yeah, right.
Like,
not for me, but people love it. People do it.
Hey, Wally's been doing it for years. Luckily, he's caught up in a good thing right now. So good for him.
So, guys, I want to have a little fun with you fellas. I got to write the agenda this week. So I came up with a series of questions that I had for you. We could do them pretty rapid fire. But there's a series of questions I wanted to ask you guys, and they're mostly related to the in-stadium enjoyment of the games, a little bit of the television though too. Just one, and we're going to start with that one. And these are either or questions, or or you're in or out on this idea. So the first one is Elk Grove Village or Village of Bedford Park.
Oh, Village of Bedford Park. Come on, baby. Easy.
The free T-shirts got you?
They got me.
you never know. Elk Grove Village might start giving out free tank tops, and they might
sleeveless.
Swing.
They go sleeveless. I'll be in.
At least one sleeve. All right. So
yeah, Bedford Park.
Next question is: you can never have Pineapple Guppy again, but beer vendors come back this weekend. Are you in or out?
Beer vendors.
You're in for that. I love it. I love it. So the best section that you've sat in this year?
104.
I liked 105.
All right. Oh man, you guys are going deep into the outfield.
Yeah.
You like that view. Is my Sox Summer? Is it just because Adam Eaton threw your ball?
That was nice. I'm not gonna lie. It was more interactive, I feel like, with the players right there, which was fun. The kids loved it. You were in the sun the whole time, which was nice. Kept you warm. because it was a little chilly. I like sitting, and I was telling people this all weekend because people are like, you got great seats. And I'm like, no, they fucking suck because I have to sit like this the whole fucking time.
Yes.
I'm like, I can't see the game. Like the thing about the 108 and the thing about those two sections there is you're looking straight at the fucking action. Like
Right.
I'm looking at the plate, right? And like, God bless the White Sox. They're putting all the information up above, like where the people are, right? So I can look up, I can pretend like I'm paying attention. I know what the count is. It's like I know what the guy's name is potentially, depending on how many drinks I've had. And then like I don't have to turn around or go anything. I can just look straight ahead. And that's the one thing I'm fucking totally missing. Like I like the interactiveness. I liked being this big fat white buffalo for everyone's entertainment on TV on Sunday. But like I want to be back in my fucking section, especially because a lot of times like I forget to reapply sunscreen and I'd sit in a hot tub on Sundays and then I fucking get my legs sunburned because I'm sitting there like out and about, and I'm like, why are my legs sunburned? Well, because you sat in a hot tub. And it all got cleaned off, and now you're there. So, like in 108, I am covered by then. So, but yeah, the biggest thing is just looking straight ahead at the fucking action. That's the one thing that just I need.
Chorizy, for me at 105, the reason why is because we did accumulate a substantial crowd on that Saturday night, including White Sox Dave and Barstool Chief and a bunch of people, and it felt like 108. For one night, it felt like, okay, this is like 108 because a lot of people are here. Everyone's talking, we're drinking, we're having a lot of fun time, busting each other's chops. It felt more like 108. So if these next games coming up, if 110, where we're at down close to the field, turns into that, then I might change my answer.
So that's where Chief allegedly made his. Oh, go ahead.
This leads me to my next question, which is, you cannot return to the 108 for the rest of the season, but My Sox Summer catches a ball every game. You in or out?
Out. Fuck him. Fuck him. I want my real seat back.
I'm out. I've had enough. Like that. The second one was enough. Like I don't need that. I don't need to experience that ever again. Because you know what? The more times I get hit in the hand with a baseball, the more chances that I'll have to drop it, and the more chances you guys will make fun of me. So I don't need that anymore.
Yes.
All right. You get to stop fans from doing one thing. Is it the wave, cup snakes, fighting, or lining up poorly for the bathroom?
Bathroom.
I'm gonna go with the woo. I know it wasn't
The
a
woo.
choice.
I didn't even
The woo
a choice.
sucks so goddamn hard, so I get rid of that woo bullshit.
I'm willing to add that in for you.
No.
Sorry
See,
about
that's a 100% wrong answer because there's only one thing that affects us all the time, and that is the fucking bathroom. If people lined up for the bathrooms and it was a much cleaner, easier experience, just think of how much more we'd drink. It would be great.
Yes.
All right. Assuming we get in-seat vendors back, which would be a more valuable addition for the 108 family? A pizza vendor or a hard seltzer vendor?
I mean, I
Hard seltzer.
I was gonna say I think it's hard seltzer, and it's pretty obvious.
So, and to be clear, that's not for the 108ers. That's for the
108 wifers.
fam. Because like there's some hard seltzer drinkers in there, and once we get the vendors back, they're still gonna have to go find those throughout the park.
Right.
Well, now didn't Richard take around at one time? Like he took around like that Bon Iver or whatever the fuck it's called.
Sure.
Yeah.
But
I mean, we could also occasionally we can get Brian to bring over a few for us. We'll figure it out for us.
Yeah.
Don't spread that though.
All right. So we return to the 108. What does BeefLoaf do first? Tweet a pic of the foul pole, tweet a pic of himself, or take his shirt off?
Him with the foul pole.
With the foul pole.
It's foul pole easy. Foul pole. I need that view of the foul pole. I made that picture famous. I will go back to that well.
He's done everything. He's done everything for us.
What does My Sox Summer do?
What do you mean I've done everything? I didn't make that famous? Who the fuck decided to zoom in real tight on the foul pole?
I don't know.
So stupid. Like, me. I did that.
Thanks for telling me.
What a jerk.
All right. What does My Sox Summer do first? Tell Wally to move over, yell at someone 6 sections over, or demolish his seat in the first sitting?
It's definitely tell Wally. It's Wally, get the fuck out of here. Kind of move over a little bit.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to tell Wally, get the fuck away from my seat. Yep.
What do I do first? tell Beef to go get some beer, fall up the stairs going to the bathroom, or dance poorly.
Me to go get beer.
Beers. Yeah. Beers.
That's an
Without a
obvious.
doubt.
That's an obvious one.
Without a
You
doubt.
should probably
all
go
things-
get some beers.
Those are all things I've done at the park. There's only one I do every game.
That's right.
All right, my Sox Summer.
That was
it's time
good.
for you to pay some bills.
The most amazing thing ever invented in the entire world is the tank top. In fact, it was invented by Isaac Newton. He was getting all hot watching the stars and shit, so he just cut the sleeves off. Jesus wore them. Gandhi wore them. Abraham Lincoln liked his handmade by his lovely wife. Albert Einstein wasn't a huge fan, but fuck that guy. Right now, you can hit up our merch shop and buy one of the most amazing inventions ever, the tank top. As the temperature goes up, the clothes come off. So be ahead of the game and get one of the sexiest pieces of merch we've ever created. If you want to add in a trucker hat, I won't stop you. I'll even throw in a few stickers if you do. Just don't tell BeefLoaf. Head to FromThe108.com and click on the ad. We have shirts, hats, sweatshirts, tank tops, raglans, and a bunch of stickers. Go buy now. And that's it.
Beautiful. Beautiful. I can't wait.
No
for all
pooter,
the
huh?
orders coming through.
Because he had to go take a whiz.
He was running around. He's still muted, but
He's
he's talking
whiz-loaf.
to us, you know.
He was Whizloaf.
We can't always do the pooter. Come on. It's an occasional treat for everybody.
All right. So
I
now
thought I would have
it's
listened more
time-
laughter than that. Fuck you guys, man. I worked really hard on that.
I laughed. I just
Isaac
didn't-
Newton created the fucking tank top. That shit's hilarious.
I don't want to laugh mid reads and mess you up. Now you're frozen because you got
I'm
so
back.
angry.
The comments
back.
don't say anything was funny, so I don't believe you.
It's getting there. And I did say Gandhi or Gandhi. Yeah, but
Gandhi?
I meant to say Gandhi.
like
Gandhi.
I fucked it all up. I spelled it right though. I mean, I know how to spell it.
All right.
Isaac. Shut up, Brian. All right, let's go ahead.
It's time for last call.
Yes.
All right. So last call is when we ask a question to one another. It could be absolutely anything, but each of us will ask a question to the other fellas, and we'll even answer the question ourselves if we so choose. So I will start this off. I'm gonna start this off to you guys, and my question to you guys is: what piece of drinking advice would you give to your 21-year-old self?
Wow, that's an excellent question.
So it could be anything, because it's easy to go like puke less, you know, like or you know, or don't go out every day, but those are no fun.
I think I would tell my 21-year-old self to learn my rhythm with shots. Shots will eat you up early in your career, and then as you get older, you understand how many shots you can take or how much tolerance you have, right? But when you're a young person, you don't really get it, and so you start firing down shots, and you don't realize how they affect you, and then like how they kind of catch up to you quickly. So I would tell my younger self to just stick to whatever things you normally drink, and then mix in a shot here or there and see how it affects you. I would say be careful with the shots.
You know, I think I would tell myself, maybe we need to lay off the beer a little bit and drink a little bit more vodka. And like maybe I could have got my training wheels, used a little more in the hard liquor realm, because I didn't drink hard liquor at all, for the most part. Like I used to have like $2 lemonade and vodkas at Otto's over there in DeKalb. But those were mostly lemonade and shitty well vodka. But I used to drink the shit out of Absolute, but every time I drank Absolute or heavily, I would get fucking entirely too wasted, and then I just never got a good rhythm. So like you were saying with the shots. So I think it would be, yes, let's try to get back on board here with some good vodka drinks, and just take it easy. Just take it easy. Like the Eagles.
Look, the Eagles, get the fuck out.
Beef, I really liked the shot rhythm. I think is key, and I think that you don't learn that for a while. I think
Right.
you have a lot of mistakes before you get there.
You do, and like doing shots is nice, especially like shot in a beer type situation. It can treat you real nice if you know kind of what you can handle and all that. But as a young person, you don't know. You just fucking go firing into it, and you always screw it up.
Mm-hmm. I think I would tell him, I would like sit down with myself and go, in 2021, fucking nobody drinks Red Bull. You should probably drink a lot less of
it. That's a fairly good call. No Four Loko either.
I'd probably tell myself more Four Loko. You really that's I would tell myself that shit's still on the market. You should check it out.
It still exists. Get in there.
You should buy some and keep it, and then you can sell it on eBay later. You're gonna meet a guy. Who knows?
Buy stock in anything hard seltzer related.
You don't even know what that is, but go ahead and get
seltzer.
That shit right
what the
now.
Fuck is that? Everyone loves it. Trust me. That would be funny. Like telling people, like going back, 20 years and just talking to yourself about what people drink now. Be like, people spend their entire paycheck on bourbon now. Yes. The stuff that you only know as like the as Jim Beam. That there's a whole market of this now that you can't even fucking imagine. and you do it. That would be me telling you you're one of them.
One of them, yeah. You become one of them. Yes.
All right. Since my Sox Summer has been in the same pose for like 40 minutes.
I'm still moving. I'm moving.
Maybe he's moving for Beef. I
don't know. I see him.
I
He's
got
frozen like
shot.
this.
He's got the little.
He's doing one of these, which I really. Oh, he's not back. Yes,
there he is.
Yes, he's back.
Gorgeous.
I was moving before. That's fucked up.
I don't know.
We're
You may have been moving. Your screen. Your screen was frozen.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I will let you go next because now you're unfrozen.
So now when we talk about last call, I always thought last call was whatever we wanted to do.
It is.
Okay. Because when Chorizy introduced it, he said it's a question where we bring a question to the group. I don't have no fucking questions for you motherfuckers.
Oh, okay.
I just want to show off some shit.
Do it.
And I wish I had a graphic for this, but I didn't want to give it away. I went thrift store finding today, and I found some stuff, and I wanted to show everybody. And I have a gift that I got for Mr. Loaf today, which I will wash before I get it to him. I know he's going to be real excited about this. So get ready. It was on sale today, so I only paid like $1.20 for it. But I got you this.
How tight is that going to be on me? Is it going to be like as tight as my breasts are on this? Right
Listen,
now?
I put it on, and it was a little tight.
Put it on.
I think you can do it.
Now it's going to go on my skin. What the fuck?
Well, shit. I mean, I'm going to wash it before I give it to you. But it's got the Rolling Rock on the sleeves, and it also has a name on the back, and the name is T-Rock. Oh yeah, baby. You are gonna fucking wear this sometime.
I'm T-Rock.
I don't know when.
Crazy. Am I T-Rock? Is this how it's working?
I feel like I've called you T-Rock many a time. I can't believe you found a jersey of the nickname I gave to my brother.
You think he got it silkscreened afterwards, right? He got it silkscreened today.
There is a T in your real name, but it's kind of in the middle.
Yeah. That trick. Yeah. Yep. So I see geese all the time, right? Kids geese. You know what a gi is? It's like what the
karate.
Mixed martial artists wear, like the little outfit, right?
Yep.
I see them all the time. I never buy them. This one popped up today, and I saw the patch immediately, and it's a Bruce Lee martial arts school. I've never seen that before. Has the Korea patches on one side and the USA patch on the other side. And then I checked the label. The label's some country or some, whatever, whoever makes it. But it was made in the USA. And anytime you see made in the USA on any tag at a thrift store, you buy that shit because it is fucking vintage and like it's very rare and people want it. So I looked up geese. Geese go for about $25. I don't know what this is going to bring, but it's going to bring something. But my God, Bruce Lee, right? That's some major shit. So it came with pants and everything. Not my size, but
why is
anyway.
that major shit? What? It's not
Bruce Lee.
It's not the Bruce Lee's or anything like that.
But it's Bruce Lee. I couldn't find it. I look it up, right? I go to look it up on eBay. I don't see any of that shit. Like I don't see Bruce Lee anything. So it's either really rare and worth something or it's not. But it was only $2.50. So we'll see.
Yeah, Brian. Chris Penn did coke in that that gear. That's why it's so valuable. There's still a little baggy in the.
Now we're getting into bro season, right? Bros are going out to the park, going out to we're going to Wrigley, going to Lollapalooza. They might be having some festivals back and shit. What do bros need mostly? Fucking giveaway, like old jerseys and shit, right? I didn't see many of those today, but they also love a good ironic trucker cap. Bam! USA 88 trucker cap, baby. It's got the stripes on the sides and it's got a red fucking strap back. Dude, somebody's going to be fucking, getting next to some lady during a fucking Run the Jewels set at Riot Fest with this motherfucker. And he's going to be like, baby, just come on over. And it's going to happen. And it's probably going to happen because he has this fucking hat on. So that was a nice, good pickup. I like this hat. It's a little bent on the bill. Hipsters don't give a fuck. They'll be fine. Now, I broke a rule today that I don't normally break. Usually, I don't buy stuffed animals. I was looking through the aisle. Everything out, well, it was an orange price tag was half off. This bad boy was 90 cents. And it's a Hard Rock Cafe Paris little, plush. People collect this shit. I don't. I think it's stupid, but I like to make money off people that collect shit. Now, if you go online and you look up any other Hard Rock Cafe teddy bear, they're like $3. They're not worth a lot of money. The Paris one though, last one sold for $15. So from 90 cents to 50 cents, I mean, 90 cents to $25. That's a pretty good pickup right there. So this little guy. Now. This thing is fucking badass. I'm walking down the aisle. I see this little poncho. I'm like, oh, that's cool. What does it say on the front? It says Planters Fresh Roast Peanuts. Okay?
What the hell?
Now, I got home. I didn't even know this existed. You open it up. There's a little thing right here. Okay? A little pocket. You know what you can do with this motherfucker? Watch this shit. Man, hipsters beware, because I know you're going to buy this. Because this is badass. You put it all in here. You can fucking zip it up. Or not zip it. It's Velcro. Put the Velcro in there.
The Velcro.
You got a little, it looks like a peanut bag, but you know what's in there? Your goddamn poncho. And you can put that, you know what? You can put this in there instead of a cucumber. And no one will know the wiser. Plus, if it starts raining, you'll stay dry.
Beef. This is, you know what this is? You know what this is right now?
I have no idea how you had that lined up, but I love it.
Here is the best score of the day. Now, I don't normally buy things, and when you see this, you guys are going to be like, my Sox Summer, you might have lost your mind. But I have a very good reason for what I did. I'm walking in the back where they have all the toys and then all the oblong, really huge shit, right? I see this big bag just sitting on the ground, and I'll pick it up here. Show you.
It's a fucking garbage bag. It's absolutely a garbage bag.
He's really he might throw on his back trying to pick this up.
I see this big long bag, right?
Yeah.
And it says on it,
there's a human corpse.
It's big. It says Decine on it, right? This is long, dude. This is like 8 foot, 9 foot long. I'm like, that's crazy. I wonder what's in there. So I fucking open it up. Motherfucking snowboard up in that bitch. And I'm like, this is crazy. And it's not like a plastic shit snowboard. It's like, I don't know, maybe it's a shit brand, but I looked it up. It didn't seem to be an LTD snowboard. Now, what's on the back? Holy shit, it's a skull. That's badass, right? So I'm like, fuck. It's got all the bindings on it and everything, all this shit that's there, right? I'm like, man, and like they look professional, they look good. You know, there was a pair of goggles in there, and I'm like, man, that's all right. What's the damage on this thing? 40, 50 bucks? I look at the fucking price. What do you think this cost? With the bag.
Whatever it was, too much.
$16.20. So I'm like, my Sox Summer, you can make $16 selling the goddamn bag, more than likely. And then you can give this to like one of your nephews and he could go break his neck on a hill or something. But I was like, I could strip it and probably sell the parts for that. So I was like, fuck it, I'll take it. So I go up to the counter and we're checking out and I show her where the thing is, price tag is. She goes, oh, it's over a certain amount of money. You get $3 off. I paid $14 for this shit. I was like, yes. Now, can I sell this for $50? Probably. So I might, but I might have to store it till summer. So we'll see what happens. But yes, I don't know what the fuck that is. But anyway, that was my thrift store haul today. I got a couple more things, but I'm not going to show them because they're not as much fun. I got a starting lineup figure that Eddie George. Most of these things ain't worth shit. Starting lineup figures, just so you know. This one happens to be worth $25 for some reason. I went through about 15 of them and I was like, these all suck. This sucks. This sucks. This sucks. Oh, $25. Okay. So yeah, that was my thrift store haul today.
I can't wait for a this or that with all of those things.
So just a side note, real quick story. Maybe one of our fans bought it. I don't know. But one of the first times I bought something really expensive was a Carlos Lee autographed jersey, an authentic autographed jersey that had the All-Star Game patch on it that had clearly been in a frame. And they sold it I think it was like $100 or something. And I finally sold it today. I think that was about a year and a half, 2 years ago. I finally sold it today for $200 or $225. And I was like, yeah. I knew I had something, but it was going to take a while for the right buyer to show up, and somebody did, and I shipped it out today. So I was like, yes, that was a good score. And then I'm like, let me spend all that money as soon as I get it on a fucking snowboard in June. So yeah, good smart move. But that's my last call.
Respect. The comments have been on fire during the whole show. Yeah, I must say,
dude, I've been watching the Stories Wars, because I know they have a new season, so I've been watching a lot of that. Yeah. And I a lot of it's fake, but that's one I most recently watched. Like Daryl, like lands this big unit with tons of toys and shit in it, and I'm like, oh, that's like what you wish for. You're like, oh, I want to land one of those units that all the old toys from the early 2000s, the mid 2000s that were you thought were going to be collectible, but they weren't, Oh,
that's what we need. We need to get My Sox Summer on Storage Wars. Yes. On a couple episodes maybe, and he lands a couple lockers. Maybe we got to do a GoFundMe to get the seed money to land the locker, but whatever. You'd be awesome on that show. I really think you would. I think you'd excel on that shit.
I feel like Sal would give him a few grand. I feel like he would seed this. He seems to love everything that you bought.
He does. He really enjoys all this stuff. Yeah, for sure.
I'm going to say he'd be willing to pay. BeefLoaf, give us your.
It's hard for me to go after that.
I'm sorry.
He just came all over us, but I will try. I'll give it a shot right here. So for my last call, I want to talk about useless skills. I've talked about my basketball exploits in the blog, mostly in high school, and mostly how I was bad to mediocre. However, I do have one useless skill that I developed along the way. Back when I was in 8th grade at BCA, and Chorizy and I went to grade school at BCA, and my daughter has gone there too. There was a young lady in my class, and she was supposedly really good basketball player, but she wasn't playing basketball because she hated the coach that was coaching the girls' team. Chorizy knows what I'm talking about, but I'm not going to mention who it is. She was able to spin the basketball on her finger. And me, being a big swinging dick there as basketball player, I could not do this shit. So I thought, I got to figure out how to do this, man. I can't allow someone to have the skill that I can't do. So I practiced like a motherfucker. I'm talking about 4 months. And even right now, as an adult, I can spin a basketball on absolutely every one of my fingers. I could transfer them. And even not so long ago, I could have a spinning basketball on my finger, throw it up in the air and catch it and keep it spinning, right? It's an absolutely, totally fucking useless and pointless skill that I spent months cultivating. Okay, terrible. There's no reason to even have it. Even people, when they see you do it, think, oh, that's kind of cool, and then they don't care seconds later. Okay, I want to ask you guys, do you have any skill like this that you spent a bunch of time developing that really is kind of cool, but no one really gives a shit? No one cares.
Chorizy, I can give you a couple minutes because I have a real stupid one that I think.
Go ahead.
I think it kind of relates to the younger generations. Like, I can Google really well. Like, I can find something. If there's something out there like that falls under the category that probably started the whole trend. But like putting in the right search terms to find things, like back in the day when I was buying a lot of stuff off of eBay, like bobbleheads or whatnot, just putting in misspellings of things and like would land a lot of different things that wouldn't come up in regular searches, which maybe buy, stuff at a more reasonable price. But then also, on Google search, like, I don't know if it's just because people like are lazy and I just put in like 2 more seconds to like think it through. Like, maybe we should search this, not that, and like that's potentially what it is. But that's pretty worthless. And I did put some. I mean, I've honed it for years. Why we've been Googling things. So, but yeah, I'm really pissed that you can spin a basketball on your finger. You haven't done it one time in the fucking Sunday soak, like, and pop it up and then throw it through the hoop.
No one cares. Dude, that's why I haven't done it. I could do it. I'll do it the next time for you. I'll spin a basketball.
I would love to see you do that and then just go.
I can keep,
and then it just go on the hoop.
Keep it going too. I was like, forever until you get tired. Yeah. But no one cares. No one gives a shit.
The trick is to like hold the 2 fingers like next to it, right? Like to keep it steady. Is that the trick or no?
I don't even need to do that. I could fucking do it on my pinky finger or my thumb, like just stand alone, no problem.
Damn. All right, I want to see it.
Great hands. Great hands on this guy. Everyone says it. So speaking of hands, so Beef, that I have abnormally large hands for my body, and I have long fingers, and so back in the early 2000s, like everyone played poker. Right? Like everyone watched poker. For some reason, we spent many hours watching poker on television. It's a boring ass game, but we did it and we loved it. And one thing that I saw when I would watch that is guys would shuffle their chips. Right? Like you take your chips, put them in 2 little stacks, and you shuffle them. Now, BeefLoaf has seen this, and he can testify to this, is that I can shuffle a lot of chips because my hands are super long. Like they're very long, so
you got really fucking long fingers, yeah.
And like I'm not bragging here. I play bass, so like there is some dexterity to my hands, and so I can shuffle a lot of chips. It is the most useless skill that anyone could possibly have because it's even when you're doing it, it's not very cool, and the propensity to fail at it is high enough that you just look like an idiot who just spills their chips all over the place. So I could do 50 cool chip shuffles in a row. That 51st, when I spill the chips, I just look like a drunk asshole, even if I haven't had a drink yet. But I've had a drink. But it's a totally useless skill.
Spoiler alert.
It's fairly dumb. It's fairly dumb too. Like you kind of like when in 2006, I probably looked kind of cool doing it. In 2021, I kind of look like an asshole doing it. So like, I would say that is probably my thing that like I would assume most people can do, but I think the amount of chips that I can shuffle is higher than most. But that's not good. It's not a place. It's never helped me do anything. It also doesn't
equate in any way, shape, or form to your poker ability.
Right. Like if we go to a poker table right now and shuffle a bunch of chips and be out in two hands.
Can you get the chip to go over your fingers? Like roll, like do the flips?
The run down.
Yeah, and then flip it back.
Yeah, I can do that too.
Man, I can never figure that one out. I can never get that right.
But it parlor tricks galore in the 108. I got.
But again, that one's even dumber.
Right.
Like it's just because like. And it's even dumber because I can do it, but I do it slowly. So like it's like if you chug a beer, like we have a video of me chugging a beer where I slam the whole beer after. It's probably my 13th beer of the day, but it takes forever.
It's really long.
It's a 40. It's longer than this podcast. It takes me to drink that beer. Like, and if you just like can just like slowly put the chips across your fingers, like it's not cool. It's you did it. You finished the marathon in 16 hours. Congratulations. Everyone's already gone home.
That's hilarious.
Yes,
I'm trying. I gotta get a parlor trick. You're gonna be shuffling chips. You're gonna be spinning balls.
I'm gonna shuffle chip in the hot tub. It's gonna be great.
I can't shuffle a deck of cards, so I mean, really, it's.
We're gonna teach. We're gonna get a video and teach how to shuffle.
Yes,
I try. Like I do it, but I don't think it's done very well.
We should teach how to do it on video, Chorizy. That would be fun.
Can you do the shuffle, but you can't do like the
the kickback? Yeah. No, I can't do that at all. I can go and then I just shove them together with my hands.
Okay.
Yep.
We'll teach you. We'll teach you
on
video.
We'll
teach you on video.
Yeah, on video.
You guys are chatting mean.
It'll be fun. It'll be fun.
Yeah. All right, real fun.
Especially for the viewers.
All right, guys. That's it. That's it. This has been too much fun for me. I hope the whiskey didn't get either one of you guys. It doesn't seem to have gotten me yet. But we'll report back if it gets one of them. Thanks, everyone. Enjoyed talking to everybody today. The comments were on fire as usual. Yes. Thank you very much. Go to our site and follow us on YouTube. Follow us on Twitter. Follow us on Instagram. And then also go buy everything that My Sox Summer was showing us a moment ago. We'll send you his eBay link. I hope that the Home Shopping Network portion of this show was entertaining. And we will talk to you guys very soon. Thanks.
Hook me up on shipping, Jack. Come out.
Peace.